Hi, my name is Juliet, and in the last video I talked to you about oppositions or how you can't serve two masters. Well, in this video I'm going to expand on that a little bit more, because this video is about listening to your desires. And deeply, you always know what you want. And the more that you don't listen to that, the more it is going to hurt. Let me explain what I mean by that. Because we all have these desires for a reason. And the reason is that we go into the direction of them in order to expand. Because we all have these desires for a reason. And the reason is so that we go into the direction of them, we experience them, we potentially learn some things on the way, and we expand our lives. And this can go negatively or positively, but either way, we expand, which I believe is probably the goal of the universe. And on the way there, we might complicate these urges or experiences or desires. And we tell ourselves that we're not meant for them, or they are not meant for us. And it was just dreams that we had as a child that we were never meant to fulfill. I mean, yes, we dreamt of them as a child. We really want them right now. But I mean, who does get everything in life, right?
Listen to your heart.
Always be true to your childlike wonder.
Never give up on yourself.
And be sure to chase after your dreams.
But who actually does? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. You can make your passion a hobby, but you still need a serious and stable career.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to do things in life you are not going to like. Silly dreams are for silly children who do silly things. No one actually said that one, but I'm just imagining that they would also say that one. But why do we actually do this to ourselves? I mean, can we just stop doing this to ourselves? I mean, the only thing that it is doing, it's stretching us into more ways than we are able to. It's making us spread ourselves too thin. It is making us act in opposition. What I said in my last video. And we all know, because of the last video and also because it's kind of widely known because of Neville, Goddard and the Bible, that you can't serve two masters. And you shouldn't, because it hurts. And it not only hurts, it is making us act in opposition to what we truly want. This is what mostly happens to what I like to call the Breakfast Club theory. And I mean, the Breakfast Club theory, or TBCT for short, you know, as all the cool people are saying it. Because this is like a widely known theory that I just didn't make up myself at all. But in this very popular and not at all made up theory, the character of Ellie Sheedy, Alison Reynolds, when they go around the room and all of them are telling what they're in for in detention, not in jail. And they all kind of describe that they don't want to end up like their parents. So the character of Ellie Sheedy says, when you grow up, your heart dies.
Who cares?
And when I first saw that, I was 14 years old. I was just about to hit the peak of my depression. So I was really feeling really emo. So that quote really resonated with me. And I took that to heart. And I vowed to myself and to the world that I was never going to grow up. Because when you grow up, your heart dies. According to this very popular and not made up at all theory. And I agreed with this wholeheartedly because I saw this happening in the environment around me. The adults around me were always doing things that I didn't want to do. And then when I asked them, why are you doing this? Because as a child, I never got that concept of doing things that you don't like. They said to me that, well, you know, when you grow up, there are some obligations you just simply cannot get out of. They said that this was just a part of life and it was a part of being an adult. Well, I'm sorry then, because I didn't get the memo. It's because I am legally an adult right now and I still don't want that. You might agree with me here and you might not. And I know that being an adult comes with its own territory. You know, you have to pay bills. you have to financially support yourself. And I strongly agree with those obligations, but not because they're obligations, but because they make sure you are independent and you feel independent and free and totally reliant upon yourself instead of on somebody else. And that in itself is an amazing feeling. So independence and obligations are two completely different things. But even supporting yourself financially could be done in a multitude of ways if researched and acted out properly. You do not have to go and follow the traditional trajectory. You do not have to go and walk that traditional trajectory that is, to my opinion, kind of outdated. What do I mean by the traditional trajectory? Well, by the traditional trajectory, I mean that you go to school and you get a job and you work for your pension and then you have a pension and you die in your pension. But I do get that you have to financially support yourself and you have to pay your bills. And that's all fine, it doesn't matter, because it can make you feel independent. But I never understood and still don't understand the notion of, oh, I have to visit this family member who I absolutely despise, but it is just an obligation that I can't get out of. Because the more you do this, the more it leads to you doing things that you don't want to do. And the quote of how you do one thing is basically how you do everything is what applies here and is what I mean by saying this. I'm not saying that you now have to shun every single person that you kind of don't like and you have to get them out of your life and become completely alone because what everybody just is doing is hurt you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm asking you is, which kind of people do you actually enjoy spending your time with? And what do you actually enjoy doing in your free time instead of the things that you have been doing and the people that you have been spending your time with? Because like all things and most things and everything, which is all the same thing, we kind of lack the self-awareness in habits that we've been doing for a long time, even if those habits don't feel good. We make excuses and say they're just a part of our personality, it's just who we are, we're just nice and we can't change and this is what life is like. And that's why I strongly agree so much with Allison from the movie The Breakfast Club. When you grow up, your heart dies. But I think that's maybe too strong of a wording, because your heart doesn't die, your heart can never die. But you just take the focus away from your heart and you put it into your mind and your thoughts and you feel like you have it all figured out because you're an adult. But the truth is, you actually don't. So when you start asking yourself these things, you know, what kind of people do I like spending time with? What kind of things do I like doing in my free time? It leads to you choosing yourself more and more. And we all know the key thing to this, as is with everything in this life, and that is consistency. Because the more that you choose yourself, the more that you become your first priority, as it should be. Because the world is you pushed out and you can't attract anything that you are not the vibration of. So the next time that you find yourself making excuses as to why you can't have the friends that you want, you can't have the job that you want, or you can't have the life that you want, maybe think twice or even 3 times or even 4 times or even 5 times or even how many times it will take before you make that excuse for yourself. Because that excuse will turn into a reason, and that reason will turn into a habit, and that habit will turn into a behavior, which all stems from a belief that you can't have or do something, and that becomes your life. Because your personality becomes your personal reality. And what's underneath all of that is just a belief that you are not able to choose yourself. You are putting other people on a pedestal and on a more important seat in the car or the driver's seat, and you're somewhere, you know, it's a long car and you're in the back of that. It might be a limousine, it might look good, or it might look good from the outside, but you're in the back and you can't steer and you're not in control. That's where most people put themselves when they grow up and when they become an adult, and they think that all of the things in their life are more important than themselves. And what that does, it just creates the wrong priorities in your mind. Het maakt niet uit, nee, het hoeft niet. Het hoeft er niet in, Juliet. So, be honest to yourselves. Take out your journal. Write the things that you do like. Be honest. Be honest. Things that you want, things that you like.
Be honest.
And also the things that you don't like. Be honest. Be honest. Nobody can look into your journal. This is your journal. So if you don't like a certain friend or a certain family member or a situation that you have had for a long time in your life, just write it down. They won't peek. They won't find it. You can burn it afterwards. But be honest. God damn it. Because if you're not honest, it doesn't matter what you write down because it's not honest. Be honest. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what kind of things I do and I don't like. Yes, you do. You're just not ready for the answer, but you do know. It's in there somewhere. Because you can't have an opinion about something if it doesn't stem from a belief that you have. You can't react upon or onto something or to something when it isn't a belief within you. All the answers that you need are within you, but you have to write them down and you have to be honest. Because you have one life. And do you really want to spend it doing things that you don't like and talking to people that you don't like? Because a life is too short for that. But if you do want those things, then ignore everything that I said in this video and click here for the next one. Or click here. I keep forgetting where the icons are, so it might be here for you, or it might be here. I know it isn't here, but I know that it's here somewhere. You get to choose. I just burped.